everybody, it's Charlie Grace with Charlie Grace Adventures. Thank you so much for being here. We are going to do RV travel talk today. Very exciting. Always a good show. Thank you so much for being here. We've got everybody on TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all those kind of platforms we're going to be going live on tonight. So just want to say thank you, everybody, for being here. We've got a really awesome guest today, and our guest has written a book, and you're going to want this. I'm telling you, I went through it. I'm really excited about talking about this, but let's see who's in the chat today. We have our interactive chat. Looks like we've got the Broken Nomad. Good to see you there, buddy. And my buddy Boondocking with Boomer, who's out there out and about, living the life in his Class C RV. I think he's down in Florida right now. Fantastic. There's Sarah. Good to see you there. Oh my goodness, all these awesome people here. Everybody's asking about, did I cut my bangs? Yes, I did get a haircut. Thanks for noticing there. Appreciate that. You know, it's always nice when someone says, hey, I cut them all, not just one, just so you know that. Our good friend Bree is here. Hey, Bree, thanks so much for being here as well. So guys, let's talk about tonight what's going on. Everyone is getting ready for the holidays, but we're also getting ready for travel plans for 2024. So if you're like me and you've got your calendars out and you start going through things you want to do per season, like, oh, I want to go here in the summer and I want to go here in the spring. So everyone is making all those amazing travel plans for next year. So I want to give a shout out to my lovely co-host, who of course is going to be hanging out down here. Her name is Rosie Bell. She's hanging out. She's my travel partner in crime. I love this. If you would be so kind as to, let me do some little housekeeping here. Share this out. Do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button and that bell to get notified. We put out some really cool travel content, from destination ideas to campground reviews and even reviews of camping products. So we always like to share that information out there with our travel friends. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up my awesome guests because, you know, they just know a heck of a lot more about this than I do. And they have a really cool travel trailer. We'll talk to them about that one. We're going to bring up Grant and Bonnie. Hey, Grant. Bonnie, how you doing?
Hi, guys.
Yay, good to see you. Oh my gosh. So if you guys don't know Bonnie and Grant, let me just start by saying this. They wrote a book, not like a little book, like a big book on some really cool things called USA RV Adventures, 25 epic routes, which is really cool. It's not just a place, but they give you a whole route idea. What I got to know, though, is what really, I missed my question already. What inspired you guys to write this book?
Okay, so we weren't thinking about writing it. And then we got a message from our good friend Becky Lomax, who also writes for Moon Guides. She does Yellowstone and Glacier. And she said, hey, they're looking for somebody who can write about RV travel, and you're the people I thought of. And we sent in a proposal, and lo and behold, they accepted us.
Wow. Wow. And is this your first time writing?
This is our first time writing a book. Yes.
Yes. And you hit out of the park. I mean, you guys did a phenomenal job. I've got to tell you, it's really cool. I have the link to the book pinned in the description of the video for YouTube. I also pinned in our chat as well, so you guys can take a look at that. I did put it in my Amazon storefront too, because I really do. It's not every time I get a good book where I can go, this one's good, guys. You guys need to go check this out. So you got the call, you made a proposal, and they said, sure, why not? Why not? So the real question is, what made you start RV life?
Well, we both kind of just grew up camping and, you know, traveling. It's something we've both enjoyed, and something we enjoyed, you know, as soon as we started dating, we started traveling and tent camping. And honestly, it was one too many nights in a tent when we said, we've got to upgrade this, and got a travel trailer and haven't looked back since.
And the other aspect about it is, you know, we had a pet cat at the time, Allie, who sadly has passed. But we decided that we were taking these trips. Why not take her with us? And being able to travel with her was outstanding. Loved having her with us, and she got to experience everything from New England to the West Coast, and we absolutely love traveling with her.
I was going to say, a lot of people, when they start out, that's one of the reasons they get in RVs, so they can actually travel with their pets, which I think is great. And that I think the total statistic is something like over 70% of RVers have a pet that they travel with. And I've seen dogs, cats. I've even seen birds and parrots, which has been very interesting. So thanks for
saw
an
a
interesting
goat
story.
one time. Actually, we saw a goat in somebody's like the back of their SUV or something. So
Okay.
yeah, you see
Good
all
to
kinds
know.
of things on the road.
Okay, I'm gonna put baby goat on my list of things I can travel with.
Right.
So,
It's the mature goat that becomes the problem.
Right.
gotcha. So what kind of RV do you guys have?
We have a 27-foot travel trailer. It's a Keystone Passport.
Elite
Yes.
23RB is the model number.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you pull it with?
We pull it with an F-150.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
That's Ford for you guys, in case you don't know
Yeah.
that. For the audience out there, was like F-150. What does that mean? It's not Toyota.
Yeah.
It's not Chevy. It's a Ford thing. I'm a Ford gal.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very nice. And you haven't had any problems. Now, do you have any specific, everyone's sort of specific on trailers when it comes to hitches? Do you have anything special for that?
We got a Husky Centerline, which is one of their weight distributing hitches that has the anti-sway bars. It works great. And in terms of the truck, we made sure when we bought it to get the max tow package so that it had all the bells and whistles already built in. And we got online, looked at the RV tow calculator, and went through, did all the measurements and all that, so that we knew that we could get it, because I know there's a lot of angst about F-150s towing, and there's a reason why we bought the trailer that we did, because we knew an F-150 could tow it.
Right.
Very smart. Very smart. A lot, and that's true, because a lot of people will buy something they think their vehicle can tow,
Right.
or they look at the empty weight versus the full weight, which is very different.
Yeah.
I currently have a Ram ProMaster 3500, and it says it can tow 5,500 pounds. I would never tow 5,500 pounds of bike.
No. I mean, you can do that on a nice flat stretch, but the second you try and take it over a mountain pass in Wyoming or Montana or California, you're going to burn that transmission up.
Yeah, it's not pretty. It's not pretty. Well, let's go into a couple things. So you've got your RV, and you've had it for a little while. So what's something that you might want to change up about it now that you've been in it for a while?
So we actually have a fairly unique floor plan in ours. We've got a walk around queen bed, and a sofa, but no dinette. And we probably would like to have a dinette, I think, going forward. Just not even so much to eat, but to work.
Yeah.
But that and maybe a bigger bathroom.
Yeah, the bigger bathroom would be nice, but honestly, the biggest single regret is we got one. We could have gone a little bit bigger and gotten the sofa and dinette, and we kind of wish we did. Yeah, because the dinette would be useful as a desk.
Yeah, it's something people don't think about. It used to be, oh, I just want a cushy sofa, but now a lot of people have laptop computers. They work from home, whatever it might be, and that tabletop is a really big deal these days. So, a lot of people are going to places like IKEA or other. Rec Pro is a wonderful brand. When you go over in Indiana, you can look at all sorts of aftermarket kind of additions and add-ons and things like that. That's a nice way of thinking about it.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, good to know. You both sort of aligned on that answer. That was really cool. I like that. Like, this is exactly what we need.
Yeah.
Just don't go to an RV show, because you'll come home with a brand new RV. I've seen that before. So.
We went back in January to the one in Atlanta just to see what was new on the market, and there was a lot of temptation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, you know what? There's a lot of also opportunity to, if you are somewhat of a DIYer. I mean, things can happen. Just depends on your space. Depends on your total space and what you can work with. So I'm with you on that one. All right. So we've talked about that, how you want to change, but what are some items that you cannot live without as you travel?
I will say, as the guy who sets up the outside when we're setting everything up, I cannot live without my cordless drill with the socket adapter, so that I can put up the scissor jacks and put them down quickly. That's a must-have in terms of the RV. That saves me so much angst.
So make sure that the batteries are charged.
Right.
Yep.
Which is usually my job to make sure they're charged, and I usually forget. So
Well, and we've made a point to buy several spares, and because we also use the Ryobi One Plus system, and we have we've got a fan, we've got a vacuum, we've got an air compressor, so we've got a bunch of different tools that those batteries will operate.
yeah.
Awesome. Okay. All right, Bonnie, what's one of your favorites? What are you thinking?
Oh gosh. I don't know. I love just all my little organizing things. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many of them, and bowls and baskets, and you can't do anything without that. So
So it's different when you're a full-timer versus a part-timer. So let's talk about that just a little bit, okay? So
yeah.
where do you guys fall on the spectrum of that? I call myself an any-timer.
We're part-timers. We both are full-time teachers, so we are stationary during the school year. And most of the time, if we're not in school, we're on the road.
Yeah.
So we typically are gone for 6 or 7 weeks in the summer. So we consider ourselves like full-time summer people. But otherwise it's a week at the most. So
Yeah.
So
And
I mean,
okay.
yeah.
yeah. For example, this past summer, we spent most of it on the road, either in West Virginia, Western Virginia, and then we did another trip up to northern Minnesota and South Dakota.
Nice. Very cool. We've got a few people that jumped in here. We're going to say hi. Richard Quick came in. Hey, Richard. And Stanley McFalls, a Southern comedian. Thanks for being here as well. Very nice. Always good to see you guys. So you plan your trips on your days off from being a teacher, which is one of the hardest jobs in the world, I might say. Thank you for your service. As far as I'm concerned, that's and they teach high school folks, so they deserve all of our kudos. Gotta love that. So as you're traveling and doing things, I got to go back to the book because I'm just like loving this right here. I love the fact that you guys really listed out. I'll call it it says hit the road, but it lists out the top 10 experiences that you should try. And I thought that was really cool because a lot of people go, they get an RV and the first thing they think, I'm going to go to the Grand Canyon. That for some reason that has that connotation of like, I got an RV,
Right.
I'm going to the Grand Canyon.
Right.
But you put number one, and I know there's someone on here that will love this. It says camp on the beach in Padre Island National Seashore.
Yeah.
Yep.
And why did you make that your number one? I think that's interesting.
Because there's something so freeing about waking up to the water right outside your door. Plus, you don't have to pay for it. Legitimately, you can boondock on the beach in Padre Island National Seashore. And I want to say it's 14 days, but don't quote me on that. And yes, it's just an amazing experience.
Yeah. Padre Island is awesome. The Broken Nomad says it's been on my list, and I know some people who've gone there. It's really. I know they've got like a high tide line, I think, where you can and can't go forward. But now, do you need to make reservations for that, or do you just show up, or how does that work? Do you know?
You find yourself a nice spot on the beach where nobody's at, and you park there.
Love that. Love that. I love.
And make sure that you're above the high tide line because otherwise things are bad.
That's right. All of a sudden you have a houseboat.
Yeah.
Right. Again,
not the way to get one.
Not the way you want to do.
The one thing I will say is pay attention to the winds because depending on the season, the winds do come in offshore and they can be pretty brisk.
Good to know. Okay, good tips. I love these tips. Okay, another part of the book that I liked. See, I'm telling you, I read the book. I love the book. You guys did a section called Trips by Season. So this is interesting because a lot of people say, like you, I only have the summer off, or I might be taking a trip during the spring. And one of the things you had, because I'm a spring person, I like the spring. You had Utah's Mighty Five, Grand Canyon, Monument Valley. And one of my favorites, because I'm, Natchez Trace Music Tour, Nashville to New Orleans. So I call it the Americana Music Triangle. So Natchez Trace is beautiful. And if you ever get the chance to go all the way from Nashville to Natchez, Mississippi, and down there, it's so worth it.
It
Really.
really was, and we loved it. Now, we do know that there are a little bit of, like, length restrictions for that particular bit for some of the folks who have the big, the
Mhm.
larger RVs, but if you've got something within those restrictions, it's just a pure relaxing drive, and when it comes to towing an RV, towing a trailer, a fifth wheel, that takes a lot of energy,
Mhm.
in terms of your mind. And the nice thing about the Natchez Trace is you can just relax on that road because the speed limit's low. You don't have to worry about that much in the way of merge in traffic. You can just drive.
Just glide and go. It's a
Yep.
fantastic little thing. I love this. Some recent and Snapchat. Hey guys, good to see you. We are talking with my awesome friends here, Bonnie and Grant Sinclair, who wrote the book USA RV Adventures. It's a fantastic book, guys. I'm telling you, you should get it. So I know that our buddy is in the chat, and he was saying, "What about Florida? What do we do?" I'm going to do. You guys are. I'm looking at a Texas thing. Let me find you a Florida thing. I know he's going to ask me. I really want to go to Maine. Maine has been on my list for a while, and
Yep.
I'm really excited. I'm going to pick on Maine though. As you guys talk about this, you got it sectioned off by chapters, by sections of the United States, not just states, but like sections and loops.
Right.
So what I like is, I know, guys, I'm going to share the book here. You're going to see that they give you a map of a start and a stop, and things to do along the way, and it gives you an idea of a total distance, number of days, and maybe the best season to do it in, which I love, and then some overnight stops. And I will say this: I've been to some of these overnight stops, and they're pretty awesome. So, how did you guys pick your overnight stops when it came to things like this?
Ooh.
It depends on the route. Go ahead.
Some of it was routes that a lot of them were routes we have actually done ourselves. If not exactly, then very, very close. So, we kind of did with what we personally had done or would do. Or like, oh, we drove too long that day. We need to, break that up. Or,
Mhm.
we wish we had stopped here, so let's add that in. But we tried to keep it reasonable driving distances, hitting the highlights of whatever was in a particular area.
Mhm.
And just I guess, I don't know, is that it? What else
Well,
was
and
fun?
also just what's the cool stuff, and also where are their campgrounds?
Right.
Mhm.
And particularly in New England, that can be more problematic than not.
Mhm.
Finding campgrounds that aren't not full timers, but like long term residents only,
Mhm.
up in New England can be really tough because a lot of folks use their RV kind of as a weekend cabin.
Mhm.
So they basically have a site all summer long, and their camper never leaves. And they just come up every weekend to go hang out at the campground, which is awesome. And I love that. And that what a great way to spend the vacation. But it makes it really difficult to find transient spots.
Yeah.
Right. See, seasonals are fantastic, and I have a lot of friends who have seasonal spots. But you're right. As you're traveling through, trying to find those places to stop along the way, it gets to be a little more difficult. Speaking of campgrounds, though, I want to know, what have been some of your favorite campgrounds that you've traveled to in the USA?
Ooh, we have lots of them. Probably our top campground was one just outside of Crater Lake National Park in Oregon. It was
Hmm.
Broken Arrow Campground. It was a
Yep.
Forest Service campground, no hookups, just a paved site and a whole bunch of trees, and like bathhouses. And it was amazing. Absolutely loved it. Wish we could have stayed longer.
Yes.
It was just so peaceful, even though there was really nothing there other than trees. But it was fantastic. Um,
And Bonnie, you're going to have to remind me because I always mix up the name on this. What is the name of our favorite campground in Custer, South Dakota?
it's Big
Big
Pine.
Pines. I always
I
want to
think
call
Mm.
it Tall Pines
I
for
think
some
it's Big
reason.
Pines.
Yeah.
Now you have me questioning
Um,
it.
but that's another one. It's a no frills, kind of campground, but it's plenty of beautiful trees. It's just outside Custer, South Dakota, which is easily one of our favorite spots in the country. The folks there are super nice. You just can't go wrong with that campground.
Yeah.
That is cool. That's cool. Okay, so this is good. These are good tips. I got to give a little shout out real quick because we just got a super chat from our friends at Love Seven. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas to all. That is so generous, and thank you. That's going to go in our Smile Fund. For those of you who don't know, we have our Smile Fund, and we use it to pay things forward and help other members of our community as well. So, which is really, really cool. So let me see. What can we got to do something fun. What could we do? Oh, I don't know. How about a hula hoop? Here we go. Everyone deserves a hula hoop for Christmas, isn't that right? There you go.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Thanks, guys. That's really, really sweet. We appreciate that so much. We have been working on some mobility things. We've been helping shut-ins of Northwest Ohio right now to get some ramps, and we've been doing a lot of taking care of groceries for individuals at Walmart who might be in need, which has been nice with our Smile Fund. So always nice to give back. We like that. Love that. Okay, Gracie says, "Yay, Oregon! Yay! All excited about listening about those. Love those." And Sarah says, "I love that campground." So I think it was your South Dakota, your Custer one. People keep telling me about that one. I need to go there.
Yeah.
It's a great campground.
Yeah.
And Clem is here. Hey, the best on how to Clem. Hey, everyone. Yeah, they're going to be, speaking of really cool people to meet too, they're going to be on the show, and hope you guys can come back and listen to what they've got going, because they've got some great food ideas and other really cool destinations. I
We
love
like
these things.
food.
We love
We love
good food
Who
ideas.
doesn't love a good food thing, right?
Right?
So, favorite campgrounds. Is there any particular thing that makes it, when you look at campgrounds, and we look at a lot of them, is it location? Is it amenities? What makes a great campground for you?
I
a good
like
question.
trees. I mean, something about, camping in like what's essentially a parking lot isn't always that fun. So I like things that have some trees, and it doesn't have to be, super, like national forest necessarily,
Mhm.
but just a little bit of something that separates you from your neighbor. But
In terms of amenities versus location, oftentimes we're going to choose location over amenities.
Mm.
Typically, you're not going to find us out by the pool.
Right.
We're much more content to be sitting in our chairs in front of our camper, reading a book and sipping on a refreshing beverage.
Or out hiking or
Yeah.
exploring, doing whatever. But
But there have been some really amazing campgrounds. Gosh, the Spacious Skies and Shenandoah Valley that we stayed at this past summer. I got to
yeah.
throw mad props to them, because that campground was immaculate. And we had one of the best sights we've ever had. I'm not kidding. You walk out of your camper and it's nothing but mountain views as far as you can see.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they had one of the coolest amenities, which was like a bounce pad, like a
Yeah.
inflatable air things that you just like bounce on like you're 5 years old, and that was fun.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah. Hey,
You don't think about, right?
glad not to hurt ourselves.
Yeah.
I love that. Hey, we've got one of our friends, our great supporters, Gracie and Jacques are here, and they just got their new camper van. I'm so excited. She calls it Fannie Mae, and she says Fannie Mae is everything I wanted and then some. So congratulations.
Nice.
I'm really happy. That's very exciting for you. And I'm hoping Jacques, your pup, is doing well too. So really cool story. I love that. Always neat. Well, let's see. We got a couple more awesome questions. I really want to know how do you feel about safety and security? Have you had any reservations about safety and security while camping on the road?
Honestly, we had, in terms of campgrounds that we've camped at, we haven't run into any real problems in terms of safety or security, but we have camped at a sketchy campground here or there where, like, there was one we camped at where, there's a broken down microwave and stuff like that in the back. And it's kind of like,
And actually, when we were writing the book, there was a stop we wanted to include in northern Arizona. And I don't want to call it out by name right now, but we ended up not including it because as we did some research, we could not find a good campground that we felt good about. We've read, we found a few campgrounds that all had some, kind of warnings about things. So we said, we haven't been there personally yet. We're going to just skip putting that in the book. And I think in hindsight, we have since visited it. I think in hindsight, we're glad we skipped it.
Yes.
that we had just kind of day tripped there.
Right.
That's probably the right way to go. So
Yeah.
That's a good thing. I mean, you checked it out. And I think, do you use any apps? Are there any apps that you guys like to go on and look at reviews or anything?
Oh yeah.
We use RV Life Campgrounds. Is the one my go-to. And
All Stays.
And what's the other one? Campendium. I like a lot.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good to look things over. I mean, it's in this day and age, a lot of the smaller campgrounds are being bought up by larger companies, and they still look small, but they're owned by different things.
Yeah.
I just support as much as I can the smaller campgrounds because I think it's important. I think it's really nice. Yeah.
And we have seen like one of the campgrounds that we stayed at up in just outside Boston near Concord, Massachusetts, was recently bought out by a major company. And they kind of, they've revamped it and stuff along those lines, but it's still, you're still dealing with those policies, et cetera. And it's not that I have anything against that, but I'd rather do a mom and pop shop if I can.
Yeah, I like the idea. Okay, we're going to talk about your 25 epic routes because you have 25 epic routes in your book. And I got to tell you, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I want to know, of all, now you could answer individually, what is your favorite route that you went on? If you had to pick one today, what would you say? That's the one you should try. I'm just curious. What do you think? All right, Bonnie.
I mean, I'm probably going to steal his answer, so I'll go first. It's got to be the Grand Loop because it's the biggest route, so you're going to hit the most stuff. But it's the epic stuff of the West, and those are some of our favorite places overall. And I think we even wrote in there, if you can only do one, this is the one to do.
Right.
So it just hits Yellowstone and Utah and Eastern California. It hits all the great spots, and so we love them.
And what time of year would you want to do that?
Ooh, that one definitely is a summer trip, and you kind of have to time it right to where you're not hitting the mountainous areas too early or too late in the summer, but you're also not hitting the desert areas too early or too late. And it's kind of a tricky timing depending on exactly where you're starting.
And if I remember right from when I wrote sat down and wrote this particular route, I started it as if someone were renting an RV out of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And starting going to the Grand Canyon, then up to visit the Utah's Mighty Five, and then going from there. And the idea is start in early June so that you can spend your time in the desert before it gets ridiculously hot.
Yeah.
Right.
But allow enough time for the snow to melt in Rocky Mountain National Park so you can drive the pass there, and going further north for the passes to melt at Beartooth or up in Glacier National Park.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I think that's definitely, like I said, when people get an RV, the first thing they think of is, I'm going to the Grand Canyon. And I think that loop, like you said, that loop is a really interesting loop. And it's my co-host is dying to come up here for a second, guys. Oh my gosh, the treats have ended.
Puppy.
So Rosie, hi Rosie, how you doing? She is a 38-pound rescue dog who thinks she's a lap dog.
Oh,
and, bless her heart, always fun. Yeah, no, she's a good girl. But that's really cool. I'm really glad because I think I typically stay east of the Mississippi just because of other reasons, but I'm going to be going west in the next couple of years, and I'm really excited about that. So looking at the book has really helped me make some plans and try to put some timing along that. So that's been a huge, huge help. So really cool.
And
Adele.
The one I'm going to toss out there real quick is my favorite that she didn't steal my thunder on was the Best of the Dakotas, because a lot of people overlook North and South Dakota as destinations, and I will sing their praises all day long and twice on Sunday. That the Black Hills of South Dakota, Theodore Roosevelt National Park in North Dakota, you've got some of the the Badlands, all that area there. You've got some of the prettiest country in the United States, and most people overlook it. And I can't recommend that area highly enough.
Nice. And what time of year do you think you should go to that one?
That's a summer to, you could go in the fall, but
early fall.
By about the third week in September, you're starting to run into some you can get into some rainy, cooler weather.
And seasonal closures, because I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of stuff closes in the winter. So, just have to be careful about that.
But I will toss out, if you're looking for an epic experience, and we mention it in the book, going to Custer State Park, which is in the Black Hills of South Dakota, for the Buffalo Roundup is one of the coolest experiences we've ever done. And just seeing them herd in, what was it, 1,300 bison into the corrals, so that they can check them for health conditions. I'll always pronounce it Bucerellus, which is a disease that can spread Brucellus. That's it.
Yeah.
Spread to cattle. It's such a really, really cool thing.
Most people don't know about that unless they watched Yellowstone.
Right.
Right.
We learned all about bison and cattle and everything. It's a big deal. Yeah. Really cool. Yeah. That's another one of my South Dakota, North Dakota kind of things, because I've heard the same thing. I finally got to go to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan this past year, which
great place.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So I would definitely go back there. But there are times, there's certain seasons that you do want to go certain places. I'm not a fan of cold. Really not. Now I love snow. It's beautiful. I love to watch it. I'm a Southern girl. I can, in a distance, on a hilltop somewhere. But you have to think about those things. And also same thing with heat, though, as much as I hate to say it, because I'm used to the South.
Yep.
Anything over 100 degrees, I don't care if they say it's a dry heat. That's not my kind of heat.
It's still hot. We've done it. Yeah.
Hot.
We ended up in Utah in the summer unexpectedly, and it was hot.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Broken Image says we used to hang out with the bison at the KSU Pen in Fort Riley when I was there as a guest.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Good to know. Yeah, snow is a 4-letter word. Absolutely.
Yes.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And most of us don't want to, the safety component of driving with a rig in the snow or ice is very dangerous. So you got to think about those things when you start really planning this stuff. And shoulder seasons. I was going to talk about shoulder seasons. So I know, you have a school calendar, and sort of it's interesting because you go on the main times. I'm always like 3 weeks before school gets out, like where should I be before all the families get there? And I think that's something to think about when you start planning.
Yes.
If you can do it. If you can do it.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, so what's coming up next for you two? I mean, you wrote a book, you're going everywhere, you're teaching, you're doing stuff. What do we have planned for this year, for next year, 2024?
Well, we're doing a road trip. We're definitely keep traveling. Our next trip will not be with the camper though, because of the short break. So we're going to drive out to Texas and tour around East Texas, hit Padre Island, National Seashore, and a few other places.
We're national parks geeks, so our one of our goals is to visit all of the units of the National Park Service, not just the named national parks. And we're 302 out of 425, I think is the
they just added like 3 new sites. So.
Okay, yeah, that's right, 428. So we're definitely looking forward to getting out to some of the smaller sites in Texas.
Yeah. And then we're going to take our camper up to the Washington, D.C. area over spring break and check out all the fun stuff in Washington, D.C.
Yep. We're camping at the Prince William Forest Park, which is a national park site that's oddly, named. Yeah, 428 sites in the National Park Service.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I was going to. Do you have your little passport? Did you ever do the passport thing where they stamp it and they give stickers or whatever?
I mean, we used to have one, but then we'd always forget it. So we just have a checklist.
I would do that too. I would get halfway there and realize there's a visitor center. I'm like, where's the? I was so mad.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm good. I'm good.
It's like
I've
you
been
leave it
there,
at the
done that.
car, and then you take a flight, or you put it in your whatever bag, and then you take a different bag. And so we just said, nah, whatever.
I
And
am a fan. Oh, go
saw
ahead.
Richard in there posting up saying going south sounds great. And I'm going to toss in there. One year we went down to South Florida and spent our February break down in South Florida.
Texas.
No, South Florida.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. We did
In
do
South
that too.
Florida to go to the Everglades and Biscayne and Big Cypress National Preserve and had a blast.
Yeah.
And we did long ago did tent camping down in the Florida Keys, and that was great too.
Mhm.
That would be fun. That'd be a lot of fun. I have an aversion to alligators, just saying in general. I have my space and they have their space.
Yes.
Just, neither the twain shall meet. It's not good.
They're so cute.
They're so cute on your dinner plate.
Right.
Exactly.
Not going there. I love this. Well, guys, we got lots of people in the chat. If you guys have any questions for these guys, whether it's about the book, I did put like I said, I put the description in the chat, in the description of the video, and in the chat. And I just think this is fantastic the way it was put together. And some of the places that I've been to, which is really more fun for me to look at and go, oh, I've been there. Smoky Mountains has been a place I've grown up my whole life. And you talked about Cades Cove and campgrounds and little air resort. Townsend, Tennessee is one of my favorite little towns in Tennessee.
Favorites for sure.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's the quiet side of the Smokies that most people don't know about. And once you know about it, you're like, why would I go anyplace else?
Yeah, we went to Townsend first and then it was a different trip. We went and stayed in Pigeon Forge and we were like, oh, let's go back to Townsend.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, there must be questions. Are Crocs okay? Really, no, either alligators or Crocs. They can stay on that side. I'll be on this side. That's okay, guys. Charlie Grace, I'm going to bring you alligator fishing one of these days. That's okay. Just take a picture. I'll be fine. You guys can just enjoy that. No, but I really, like I said, places in here that I was like, oh, I've been there. I understand this. The East Coast, if I'm going to go to Maine, what is something, and I read the book though, what do you think is something that I must see if I go to Maine?
Ooh. Acadian National Park, and I mean just the entire of Mount Desert Island, Bar Harbor, or Bahaba, as it is pronounced up there. The entirety of that island, while it is touristy and it will be crowded when you go, the views are worth it. It's worth putting up with the crowds.
And if you can get there in like September, there's a small little window in September after the summer rush, but before the like fall colors. We actually went up, was last year or 2 years ago?
Last year.
With my mom and my sister, kind of middle end of September. We just flew up for a couple of days and we nestled into right at that good time when there weren't a ton of people. It wasn't closed for the winter yet.
Right.
So yeah, it can be a good time to be there. Not super cold. So.
And if you want to get away from that, that crowd, Camden, Maine, just to the south, well,
west,
it is a really, really neat, quaint seaside town in Maine. And we really enjoyed that town. We didn't even, when we visited the first time, it was raining for most of our visit, but we still really enjoyed it. It was a blast. Plus, as an English teacher, I got to point out that one of my favorite poets, Edna St. Vincent Millay, made Camden her home.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Gracie says, I drove from Kennebunkport down to New Jersey and it was beautiful. Yeah. So that's really nice. Yeah. It's on my list. I know I have to be in Pennsylvania in September. And so around Hershey and that sort of area for the RV show and what's coming up. So I might try to sneak it around, try to do it around there. That would be really cool. Yeah. So good tip. Good tip. I love these things. Well, guys, you have been amazing guests. I'm so excited. Like I said, you guys, if you travel, you got to get this book. I'm telling you, you're going to love this. I've had it for like a few weeks and just kept thumbing through it and putting little Post-it notes and trying to say, okay, I want to go there, and I want to go there, and I want to do this. Just love this thing. Oh, here we go. Maine, tasting blueberry ale at the North Atlantic Brewery. Ooh, that's a good one too. That sounds listed. Oh, here we go. Do you see any Vanners boondocking on the East Coast?
Ooh.
That's tough to find on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tough.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm sure there's a few places you can find it here and there, but
Here's the
not.
thing. I will give you my 2 cents on banners on the East Coast because I'm sort of over there all the time.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a place to sit, like park for 3 to 5 days, that becomes the tough part. If you're looking for something overnight quickly, tons of overnight quickly things.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to do Harvest Hosts, or if you want to do Cracker Barrels and Walmarts and things like that, you can do that. I would say that on the East Coast, it's a little easier on the Cracker Barrels, Bass Pros, Cabela's. I know on the West Coast, they sort of, they're not really happy with that
Right.
because it's sort of
Right.
overused. And
Yeah.
vanning on the East Coast is sort of more of a novelty than is,
Yeah.
it's more the exception than the rule. So
Mhm.
that's about the only thing I have been planning. I have friends who don't do a lot of, they might do 2 nights here or 1 night or 2 nights. I'd like to stay for longer times
Right.
just to get a
Mhm.
feel for the place. But as a van lifer, it's true. You drive here, spend the night, and drive there and spend the night. It's a different
Right.
way of looking at it.
Yes.
Yes. Whereas
Oh,
with the travel trailer, it's very much drop the camper and then go out and explore from there.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a radius. You have a radius to go from.
For sure.
Yeah. But I will say, before I forget, look at iOverlander. iOverlander will also help as far as finding places for
Mhm.
van lifers. That's a really good one. And I do like Campendium. They do have some free places. They have a nice free boondocking area. But
Mhm.
East Coast has predominantly always been overpopulated, overdeveloped, hard to find a place, that kind of thing.
Which is why we like going west.
Right. And you're just not going to find as many Forest Service lands that allow dispersed camping like you will out west, or the BLM land that you find out west that allows it. And I when we were looking for campgrounds for the book, I was making a point to look for dispersed camping
Mhm.
on the East Coast sections and really could not find much.
Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough. But this is a dream. This is a thought. This is good to let people know how this works. So very cool. Well, guys, I'm going to give you the last call. I mean, what is there anything else? You're going to go to Washington D.C. You're going to take your road trips. Should we follow you on any kind of socials or anything like that we should check you guys out on?
Yes.
Absolutely. You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram at Wanderfilled Life, and then on X, formerly known as Twitter, Wander_filled. And let's see,
Our website
is wanderfilledlife.com.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, you guys get to check them out. And we'll go from there. But you guys have been a fantastic guest. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to hang out in the basement, I brought milk and cookies. You can go down there. It's Christmas time after all. So I'll be there in just a second. Hold on. Here we go. They are awesome. Really nice people. Really amazing book. Great ideas on taking trips and planning and things like that. So like I said, you guys want to check this out. It's called USA RV Adventures. I look at a lot of travel books and I do a lot of research, and they did a fantastic job. This is a lot of work, so kudos on that. If you're looking for an idea of something to give a really cool RV person for the holidays, this might be it. Good stocking stuffer. I love this one. All right, everybody. We will be back tomorrow. Our next episode is going to be with Clem, and we're going to be talking about the things that they're doing as well as their food and travel destinations. So make sure you guys tune in next time. So everybody have a fantastic day, and we will talk to you guys later. And just remember that every day is an adventure.